I have a right to quality services.
Women before didn't have a voice. They can be part of the decision-making process. They're demanding for quality healthcare.
During COVID-19, we faced many challenges, many problems.
I spent a lot of money to access the medication, so COVID-19 has been a help for me.
I would like to urge the government to support primary and healthcare services.
COVID-19 is laying bare the gaps in the health system, exposing gender, racial, and class inequities everywhere.
This is not new. Around the world, women, adolescents, and families have long voiced what we need, what we want, what we deserve.
We want quality care, including respectful and dignified treatment, with means to redress wrongs.
We want clean health centers and schools with running water and toilets.
We want health workers, especially midwives and nurses, who are respected and supported so they are better placed to provide respect and support.
We want to feel safe, whether at home or in a hospital, with those who are meant to care for us.
We want equal protection and promotion of our rights, including sexual and reproductive rights, no matter who we are and what we represent.
We want essential information, supplies, and services for sexual and reproductive health, for maternal and newborn health, for child and adolescent health, within reach during an emergency and every day.
Our demands are not new, but perhaps the world is finally ready to truly listen,
to act, to invest in a way never seen before.
To let the voices of communities light the way out of this pandemic and into a more healthy, equitable, and prosperous world for all.
Decades of progress hang in the balance. There is no equity without a fair response to all. There is no recovery without equity.
morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a very warm welcome to distinguished guests, friends, colleagues, and champions of health joining us from all around the world. Hola a todos. My name is Ilana Sod, and I am a producer, media journalist, and former MTV senior news correspondent, joining you live from Mexico City. And it is my pleasure to welcome each one of you to the third edition of the Lives in the Balance Summit, co-hosted by the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the Global Financing Facility for Women's, Children's, and Adolescents Health and Core Group. I will be moderating this event over the next 2 days and guiding you through the various discussions and exchanges. Before we start, let's take a look to see who is here. These summits always bring a wealth of partners from all around the world, and I am sure this time will not be different. Amazing. We have more than 1,000 people registered from all over the world. This is really exciting. We are so grateful you have joined us this week during this very challenging time. We hope you are safe and well wherever you are. We want to hear from you, so please engage with our colleagues by using the chat at the side of the screen. Share your thoughts, stories, and questions with us. We are also keeping the conversation alive on social media. The hashtag is Lives in the Balance, and we look forward to hearing from you there. When we met in 2020 for the first Lives in the Balance Summit, we heard from you about your experiences, challenges, and needs during the COVID-19 pandemic. You called for urgent action by governments and all stakeholders to ensure the health and well-being of women, children, and adolescents during the COVID-19 pandemic, and highlighted in the 7 advocacy tasks from the PMNCH Call to Action. Today, well over 1 year into the pandemic, the impact of COVID-19 rolling back progress on the health and well-being of women, children, and adolescents in many of the world's poorest communities. New reports confirm our worst fears. More women, children, and adolescents have died and or have suffered from unwanted pregnancies and health challenges. COVID-19 has also widened the gap between the have and have-nots, driving more people than ever before into poverty, putting women at increased risk of violence and ill health, and putting ethnic minorities at higher risk of dying. COVID-19 does discriminate, and it does so along the same lines as society: education, wealth, gender, race, and disability, among others. COVID-19 is also drawing lines between countries. Early days of global solidarity have given way to conservatism and vaccine hoarding, but if we are not all protected, if all health workers around the world are not protected, none of us will be safe. Today, we will look at equity in COVID-19 response and recovery. How, as a global community, are we promoting equity? And how are governments and partners in countries ensuring that equity-enhancing strategies are being put into place to protect the most vulnerable, including women, children, and adolescents? Before we start, I want to share a short video that will highlight some of the issues that we will be discussing today.
langa ndine Mavis Njebe mavuto amene akumana nawo pa COVID-19 ndikuleka kwa mzanga amene analeka sikulu chifukwa chakutenga mimba nzoti panopa mzangayo ali ndi mwana ndipo mwanayo akusowa chisamaliro chifukwa anatenga mimba chifukwa ya COVID-19.
Al punto que no tenían los niños que comer y el señor presidente decía hay que resistir. Es fácil decir hay que resistir cuando su despensa está llena y la de un niño no tiene las latas de leche vacías, tiene una mamadera vacía. Para una mujer, para una madre desempleada, es difícil decirle a esa criatura, mi amor, hay que resistir.
Young women and girls are failing to get family planning services. Most young women have then been getting unplanned pregnancies, also resulting in other women getting into marriages early in a rise to run away from poverty.
Wow, some of these statistics were incredible and worrisome. And it's doubly powerful to hear people speak about what those numbers mean in real life. I have one more statistic for you. Just think for 1 second. What percentage of vaccines purchased globally have been administered in Africa? Just think about it. Okay. Can you imagine the figure is just 2%? Sobering, isn't it? 2%. I don't know about you, but I find these statistics very worrying. These numbers remind us of the task ahead. Without immediate investments and interventions to promote equity in the COVID-19 response and recovery, we will miss our chance to save lives and protect hard-earned progress. During the discussions over the next 2 days, we will reflect on progress, share lessons, collaborate, and critically use this opportunity to recommit to action. And to start us off on the journey of reflection, we are honored to introduce critically acclaimed author Edith Shafak, the award-winning British Turkish novelist. Her latest novel, 10 Minutes, 38 Seconds in This Strange World, was shortlisted for the world's most prestigious book prize, the Man Booker Prize, and the RSL Untitled Prize, and chosen as Blackwell's Book of the Year. Elif is an activist, a defender of women's rights, and will help us reflect on the past year and challenge us as we start on this journey together over the next 2 years. So, over to you, Elif.
Thank you so much, Ilana. I appreciate it. I'm a novelist. I'm a storyteller, and that means, of course, I love and I treasure stories. But I think it also means that I am interested in silences. And I believe we cannot talk about equity without understanding the inequalities, the silences, the invisible barriers that keep us divided. And amongst those comes, first and foremost, for me personally, gender inequality. Maybe I can share a little bit about my personal story. I was raised by two women, my mother and my grandmother, and they were very different women. My mother is more westernized, my grandmother is more Eastern, more traditional. But what stayed with me is that they supported each other in a very patriarchal world. And the reason why I share this is because when women empower each other, when women support each other, I think the impact of that goes beyond generations. As a novelist, I used to go to lots of schools, and I had a chance to talk to different students coming from different age groups. And I've never forgotten, if you speak to a 6-year-old, 7-year-old girl in Turkey, in the Middle East and beyond, it is just amazing to see how at that age, girls are just as confident, if not even more confident than boys. They have so much chutzpah, so much confidence, right? But then I would go to high schools and speak with teenagers, and everything has changed. Now girls have become timid. So what happened to those 7-year-old children who had so much confidence? How did we teach them as a society, at school, in the family, in the neighborhood? How did we teach them to lose their confidence and to internalize the gaze of patriarchy? But I don't think it's only in places like Turkey. I think everywhere we need feminism. Everywhere we need gender awareness. We used to think that some parts of the world were solid countries, and you didn't have to worry about women's rights. You didn't have to worry about the future of democracy. You didn't have to worry about rule of law in those solid lands. You had to worry about such things in those liquid lands miles away. That was the perception until quite recently. But I believe more and more in the later recent years, that dualistic interpretation of the world has been shattered to pieces. Now we know that there's no such thing as solid countries versus liquid countries. In fact, we're all living through liquid times. And in these liquid times, we need global solidarity. We need global sisterhood, because I think when countries go backwards and they tumble into ultranationalism, religious extremism, or some sort of populist authoritarianism, the first rights that will be curbed and curtailed will be women's rights and minority rights. So perhaps we women need to be more engaged, more passionate about defending democracy, defending diversity and equality. And if I may add this, I think we have massive global challenges ahead of us, whether it's the possibility of another pandemic, whether it's cyber terrorism or our climate. As we're speaking, our planet is burning. We cannot solve these global challenges with the forces of nationalism or with the forces of tribalism. This is a moment when global solidarity is mostly needed. And I think if we can put gender equality at the center of all of our efforts, then hopefully we can give those girls a better, a fairer future, East and West, everywhere.
Elif, those are very powerful words. We are so pleased you could join us today from the UK, from this important event. You have heard, Elif, thank you very much for your words. You have heard her words about the importance of coming together to reflect and share how we can do better for the health of our populations. And we have a great program in store for today's to further this conversation. Thank you so much, Elif. It was a pleasure for us to have you today.
Thank you so much.